And I guess if you have the money, you could just spend $700 and get the fancy conversion kit. Or the cheapest one is $300, and that one has a very unique master cylinder that only measures about 6/25 thousandths of an inch, or 0.625. So yeah, no, I mean at minimum you probably want to run 3/4, and the cheapest one, I mean, you're not gonna find that at the autopart store. And then again, the 3/4 one from Willwood, you're probably not gonna find that either, but at least it's at a very reachable spot. So as you can see, I messed up. Did it right here, trying to stay within the square. Brake booster's in the way. It's a vacuum booster. But if you have hydro boost, you might have been able to get away within the actual square and made it work. But the T56 is already in here. If I see the firewall flexing, then I'll put some kind of stiffening plate on it. Not a big deal, but this is happening. Next clip is going to be me working the clutch and showing you what I did for a reverse quadrant. Instead of the pull type, it's going to be a push type with a Heim joint. And you'll see it in a minute. I'm using the compact Willwood master cylinder. And unfortunately, there's barely enough room to run that. It's going to have to be a remote reservoir, which I'm going to mount somewhere up here. And I should take advantage of cleaning up the wiring now that the booster's out anyways. Alright, so here's a quick rundown. Shit was actually not very expensive. I ended up using a Willwood master cylinder. Now, welds are ugly, everything has to be cleaned up still. So just ignore that for a second. The whole point is hydraulic conversion on essentially what's a 79, well, not even 79, I would say after 94 to 2004 for sure, because apparently the stamping was different from the Fox bodies and so on and so forth, so whatever. So for starters, there's a LT1 T56 converted over to LS1. The unit whines really bad, but the whole point again, clutch conversion. So I'm using AN nylon fittings. So PTFE and PTF rated olives, or the metal olives that crush into it, has to have that for the AN lines. It's AN4, and the actual transmission has a stock Camaro slave cylinder with Earl fittings that turn it into AN4, plus the Trick or Tick Performance remote bleeder. Now the remote bleeder is pretty good in case you decide to leave your car like this and you're not going to fuck with it. It gives you the option to remote bleed it and also change the fluid that way. So for the $60 that cost me, totally worth it. There's a couple of issues here. The master cylinder is pretty close to the brake booster. Now I'm definitely going to take a page out of BMW's book and just heat shield everything, because that's just what they do. A lot of components are close to, you know, really hot items that they just put heat shielding around it, and that's what I'm going to do. There's the master cylinder. And in the other video I did say I'm not going to put, or I'll consider whether I put a stiffening plate on the actual firewall. The firewall is really thin. It's really thin, and if you're using a heavier clutch, even heavier than what I'm using, it's definitely going to flex. So I put a 1/4-inch steel plate square. Doesn't even look pretty, but 1/4-inch plate. I just made a square, mounted it on, sandwiched it, and apparently just one is plenty. Master cylinder does not move. It holds it together just fine. It holds pressure, it doesn't move. The only issue I'm currently having is with the actual quadrant part, because again, as you know, the earlier Mustangs used a cable clutch instead of a hydraulic clutch, which kind of makes sense now given a brake booster and the stupid modular motors that, you know, they just had to go single overhead and dual overhead cam at the time, so they had to have room for that. Now, if you're lucky to start off with a GT, you'll have a hydraulic brake system, which is I believe it's called Hydro Boost. It's obviously takes up less space on the brake booster, so you could have technically moved that master cylinder a little bit more this way, and the geometry would have been so much easier right off the bat. Again, not a big deal. It's not touching anything other than the brake booster. There's room in there, cylinder head wise, hardly any issue. What else? I'm sure people are gonna have questions, and I'm trying to think of all of them right now. You got your AN fittings. I'm sure I talked about that. The master cylinder. So I'm sure you came across a video of a guy talking about, oh, I had to do a bunch of different things. I got it. It wasn't working for over 70 days or whatever the hell it may be. I thought I was having that same issue. I couldn't get it to flow fluid. Apparently, I just had to bleed it. So all I did was just put a fitting. I don't know if you can see it. I just put a fitting on the output or the outlet. Then I fed it into here, and I just pumped it a shit ton of times, and then it eventually started pushing fluid, and that was that. So not a big deal. I wish I could have used the one that has a built-in reservoir, but the eBay ones I'm using, this is for like a motorcycle clutch fluid system. You can see it's sealed with screws. Not a big fan of that. Maybe I'll put a wing nut in there or something that'll make it easy to come out, but it's been sitting like that for about a week now. There's no loss of fluid. Everything's perfectly sealed. And if people are curious to do this, I'll dig up the I still have the pile of receipts for everything I bought. It wasn't that expensive. The master cylinder was $74, and that reservoir was $13, and this brake fluid rated hose was like a foot for $13. And there's a seller on eBay that sells it, and only they have that. Nobody else seems to have that, and it has to be brake fluid rated, which I found really ironic. There's a couple other things like 7/16 by, I'm not sure what that says, 7/16 by 20, that's AN4, and 3/8 by, or is it AN4? And 3/8 by 24 is, shit. So one of these is AN4 and AN3, or I might have my numbers confused, but that's the same threading they use for those. But like I said, if you really want specifics, I'll gladly post the parts list for this in the comment section if you really care about that. Now, how does it feel? Well, it moves. The clutch should feel better. I think the only problem I'm having is that I haven't lined it up correctly, which I can still take off, drill another hole for the actual Heim joint, and get the geometry better so it operates smoothly. But to move it around and to even drive it if I have to, can do it. But the clutch I'm using is also a McLeod. It's rated up to 400 horsepower, so it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. So there seems to have good clamping force, but I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit smoother. But it is heavy. So here's what it looks like with the T56. I still got to patch it over. That's not a big deal right now, but this transmission unfortunately might need a rebuild. It whines really bad, but I'm probably just gonna send it and rebuild it at another time, because, you know, if you look at the T56 forums, there's people over there saying, yeah, my shit sounds like a box of rocks, and I've made 700 horsepower pulls on it day in and day out. I've never had these issues with Japanese transmissions. The one in my Z31 with the Z32 transmission and a 5.3 never gave me any issues, and that was probably the best shifting transmission I've ever had. But anyways, here's the pedals. If you go to some of my video shorts on my account, on my YouTube channel, you can actually see the operation. It's pretty sloppy, but it works for now. I'm actually gonna finish setting this up and getting the better geometry on it, but it does work. There is play, so it's not riding the master cylinder. So everything works, nothing flexes, and yeah, it works. I mean, if you have any questions, this is definitely a good way to go. So you don't have to spend the $700 on the conversion. I mean, if you have the money, go for it. But I mean, my clutch kit didn't even cost that much, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that they want $700. I get it, research and development, and they got to make sure the clutch neutral safety switch works, which is cool. But yeah, it is what it is. Mostly your biggest concern with this is lining up, drilling the hole to where exactly you're going to need to mount the master cylinder, and the rest should be cake. It took me at least a day, and probably like a bunch of days before that of just designing and drawing and figuring out what goes where and where do we have enough room, that sort of thing. I wanted to use the one with the master cylinder built in, the actual reservoir built in, but I don't think I have enough room, so I ended up using the one with a remote reservoir. So again, I mean, maybe if I had like a K20 or a K24 or a 2JZ in here, maybe I'd be able to get away with it and scooch it over a bit more. Maybe the intake manifold gets in the way. I don't know. This is mostly for people that are doing swaps, like random swaps on the cheap. Like, as you can see, my car looks like shit. It's a shit box. You know, I wouldn't do this to a Mach 1. I wouldn't do this to a Cobra. I wouldn't, you know, me personally. I'm sure there's people out there that can do the same thing and make it so much better and make it look so much professional and make it even look nicer and put it in a spot where it's not going to be next to the cylinder head. It's not going to be next to the manifold. So really consider your situation here. Because again, I wouldn't recommend this to a person that has an 03, 04 Cobra. But even then, I don't think anybody would do something like that if they had that. So yeah, just things to consider. D56, this is essentially where it ends up at. The stock console should be able to, maybe if I trim it, it should be able to do it, and we'll have no problems. If you have any questions, just let me know. And for sure, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.